Hi everyone. So Polaris is back with another mental health awareness campaign. I'd like to introduce our next topic, which is going to focus on healing from depression. We're calling it the Battle of the Blues. So myself and my team have put together some really valuable information, which is coming to you in the form of blogs, videos, articles, and really, important tips. As you all know, the whole world is currently going through a difficult time. So it's not surprising if many of us are feeling perhaps that little bit more depressed than we normally would. So we thought this would be a very adequate topic to cover. So what is depression? We'll be going into this a little bit more in the coming weeks, but in a nutshell, depression is a prolonged state of low mood. So when we are simply sad, this is not depression, okay? Sadness is very common, and it's a normal human emotion to feel sad from time to time. We can really call it depression when the sadness sticks with us and seems to be really unshakable, and when we start to feel somewhat helpless and hopeless to this emotional state. So it can feel quite crippling at times, and we are all prone to depression, some of us more than others. Some have a genetic predisposition to it, some have personality traits which cause it. But then, there are just average people who go through difficult experiences in their life. For example, grief, trauma, other kinds of losses, which can set off a period of depression, which we call a depressive episode. So I think, it's important to know that anybody is susceptible to depression, and it's so important that we all look after our mental health. So how does depression feel? Those of you out there who have struggled with a phase of depression or who struggle with depression consistently are going to relate to me saying that depression can feel like a total joylessness, where nothing in life seems to give us any pleasure. It also makes us feel very tired, very fatigued, very helpless, hopeless. At times even causes pain in our body, an inability to concentrate, maybe a tendency for us to isolate ourselves from others. It can cause poor appetite and insomnia. In some cases, it can also cause overeating or oversleeping. So really, depression does manifest very differently in different people. We also have a sector of the population, which research is supporting with the literature, who are what I like to call walking depressives. So these are very high functioning, well adapted people who are actually depressed but go along with their life, and nobody is none the wiser to how they are actually feeling internally. Okay, so there are these well functioning depressed people. So when a person is the life and soul of the party but after tells you that they are actually depressed, we can believe them. This does not mean that they're faking, but this is actually their experience. So I think it's important to be always compassionate and empathic towards someone who is struggling with depression or with a depressed phase, and obviously to offer them as much support as possible. Sometimes compassion can be one of the most healing things. In fact, later on in the coming weeks, Dr. Rebecca Chadwick is going to talk to you about self-compassion and how important that is in the recovery journey from depression. So the most important thing about depression and healing from depression is that we take responsibility for our own recovery. And I think before we do that, we can't even begin our journey of healing. So it's really important to wake up in the morning and say, right, today is going to be the first day where I start to heal from my depression. And it's important to note that healing is also a process. So it's not something that's going to happen overnight, but we can start the process step by step, slowly. And we need to ask ourselves some very important questions as we go along in this process. Questions which motivate us to carry on. Like, for example, what am I going to do today to bring some joy into my life? Or what am I going to do today to lift my mood slightly? Or what am I going to do today to feel somewhat lighter? Okay? And these are questions which really give us the internal resources to start battling this depression. Okay? I've also written a blog which you can access on the link down below. And in this link you're going to find some helpful hints and tips which can get you started on your healing journey. And of course, if you feel like this is bigger than you and you feel like you can't overcome this alone, there's absolutely no shame in that. And it's important to know that there is help out there. So just to give you a couple of the tips which are written in the blog for you to maybe get interested. The first one would be exercise. Okay, we cannot underestimate the importance of physical exercise in our life. Exercise not only helps us to be fit on a physical level, but obviously encourages the production of what we call the happy hormones, the endorphins, okay, which very often are dysregulated when we have someone who's feeling depressed. Another tip is to get creative and find our creative expression. And the last one I'll share with you today is the importance of gratitude. And I don't mean gratitude in any specific spiritual or religious sense, but simply sitting down on a daily basis at some point in the day and writing down the things that are already working for us, writing down the things that we are grateful for, that we appreciate, that make us happy. This is so important to keep mindful of and helps us on our recovery from depression, amongst many other things. So please do click on the link below and read the blog and watch this space, because we're going to be coming to you with lots of important tips, even about nutrition to help you recover from depression. And we're going to end this mental health campaign also with a live panel where you'll be able to phone in or send in your questions to myself, another psychologist, and also our psychiatrist, Dr. Gabriel. So please keep tuned in with us. Send us an email if you need anything at all, and we'll be happy to help. Thank you. Bye for now.